Welcome to the New York Liberty Podcast presented by Your Game Network. We've got a new network, but it's still the same old people that you love. I'm Stacia Whittecar, and over in Scotland is
Kirstin Clark.
all right. So Kirsten and I have been doing this for a little bit, but one of the big things that we don't have is that we are not in New York or around New York. So we've got a new member of our squad this year, and hey, Pedro, let the people know who you are and why you were so important to us this year.
I'm Pedro, and I'm joining you, yes, here from New York City. And I'm excited to be one of the newest voices in the pod and bring you some Liberty insight of the inside, since I also know a little bit about courtside stuff and Hawkeye situation, giving with the replay and all the new technology in sports. So I'm excited to be here, and you're going to get it straight from the source.
Yep, straight from the source. Pedro is going to be our inside source for games in July. He's going to be at Barclays, which we cannot be. I've been at a couple games. I've been at 3 games for the Liberty. I've gone to Dallas, gotten to do some press for that. Gone to Chicago, didn't get a chance to do press, but got to be in the arena, and then got to go to the WNBA Finals last year for Game 3. I wish as a member of the press, but hey, I got to go and see one of the more exciting games. Well, I can't say more exciting. The whole WNBA Finals was exciting. And that's what we got to go with right now. Who are the 2024 champs? That's right, your New York Liberty. Kirstin's showing off her t-shirt, and I've got a cartoon t-shirt. I've got all the players on their faces on cartoons, so we are each rocking our Liberty gear. All right, Kirstin, we are the champs. We didn't get to talk about it. What are your highlights from the finals last year? Because it is a series to remember.
Honestly, it was just such a crazy finals. Every single game was so close, and we were just speaking before we started recording. It was also very controversial. So there was a lot of calls that were either missed or calls that were made that were quite questionable, and it just really kept you like a lot of oh my gosh moments happened in that finals. So yeah, it was crazy, but obviously it goes without saying the highlight was us winning. Yeah, it was just so incredible to see that happen after now having done the podcast for so long with you, Stacia, and getting to follow the team. And for everything that we predicted from the get-go, that we were going to be the champions, we had faith. For that to hold true was just like an awesome feeling.
Yes, it was. It was great. Like I said, I got to go to a game. I got to go to Game 3 in Minnesota. I literally drove 7 hours, slept on my friend's ex's couch. That's what I did, and hung out there, and had a cat sleep on top of me. Went to the game, and surprisingly got to sit by a New York Liberty fan in Game 3. And they were behind in all of Game 3, and then tied it up. Had a little bit of a lead. Minnesota ties it up, and then New York has the ball at the end of the game. And I was at the end when Sabrina made the shot. When Sabrina called game, I have never been in an arena that got so quiet so quickly. Whew, it was a moment. And then after the game, I saw Courtney Williams' dad, and he was so kind, said they were going to win it in 5, almost did. Got a picture with him. Very cool guy. Complimented him. I was like, hey, I know I'm wearing the wrong shirt, but is there any way I could get a picture? I love how supportive you are with your daughter. And then got a picture with Satou Sabally and Bria Hartley, who's back in the league now, because she was there watching. And she complimented my old school New York warm-up that I had. And then Satou, I'm just going to say this, people always compliment how good Rihanna smells. Satou smelled amazing. And I'm just gonna, that's one of the memories. She's like, hey, can I get a picture? And she's like, I got you. And she landed, and I was like, oh my gosh. I didn't say anything. That's a little creepy, but whatever that woman is wearing, keep it up, girl, because it smelled amazing. All right. So, Pedro, what was your take on the 2024 finals? Because we are biased before you hopped into this podcast. What did you think about all the controversy, all the games, how we had 2 overtime games, and then almost had 2 more. Game 4 and Game 3 were just as tight as ever. Could have both gone overtime. What was your take?
I remember when I think it was game 4. I was in Miami, and I was watching it, and I was like, is this series really this close? Is it really go landing blows from one to another? I did went to some games, but I went to some games during the middle of the season for the Liberty, and they definitely had that grit on them. They really like had the dog mentality, so to speak. So definitely well earned, well deserved, in my opinion. And now they have low-key a target on their back.
Yeah, yeah. Well, game 5, everybody's upset about the call. I think Nneka Ogwumike said something, and of course her championship was against the Lynx, that they missed a shot clock violation that the Sparks had before they really kind of went and did all of the replays on like all the shot clocks, and it was clear that it didn't get off in time, and they won by 1 point. And that was a huge game. So Nneka was like, calls are going to go your way, and they're not going to go your way.
Right.
One thing I take from game 5, I'll say 2 things. Nyara Sabli came to play, and that was a huge shift. She had 13 points in game 5. And as much as Minnesota can be mad about the call, I don't disagree with their anger. I really don't. But they did not score in overtime till like the last, like, I think like under a minute and a half. They did not score. So as upset as they were, they didn't refocus to come back in that overtime. And that is a difficult task considering all of the things going on. But you have to continue playing even after things like that happen. And they had a shot to win and they missed. So I'm just like, hey, we won it. Everything's you could say a million things this way or that way, but we've got our champ shirts on and Minnesota doesn't. Yeah. But
True
I mean,
that.
they do have 4 other shirts that they can wear. Yeah. All right. So they do have 4 other ones. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
All
looking
right, so
here. Yeah, the
we
2
are the 20
overtimes. That's crazy. 2 overtimes in the final,
2.
especially after game
Yeah.
1, like in losing, it's like, oh, it's definitely a roller coaster of emotions.
I think Minnesota won game 4 by 2 points. And this is just off the top of my head because I know
Yeah, you
Bridget
got it.
made
You
a
got it
couple
right.
free
I'm
throws.
looking at it now. Yeah.
Yeah.
By 2
Because
points.
when Bridget went up there, I saw her play a lot in college. And like, if you listen to this, I love Bridget Carleton. I love that Canadian that came to Iowa that's at Minnesota. And I was like, I don't want her to miss these, but I want her to miss these so much. So, yeah. And Sabrina like won by 3, and that it was just a close series. It's going to go down as one of the best series. Now, we have Minnesota and we have New York, who are currently the top of the WNBA standings. Minnesota has got a little bit more than we do. They're in the Commissioner's Cup final. They're going to play the Fever because of our loss to the Fever. And currently we are 10-3. Started the season 9-0 and have had a rocky start, or rocky end of like these past 4 games. It's been very tight, haven't been as dominant. But in that opening 9 games, Pedro, what did you see from the Liberty that was very impressive in those first 9 games during that undefeated opening part of the season?
I think something that like now even with the injuries, what I think is unstoppable, the 1-2 game between Sabrina and Brianna, that pick and roll, either Sabrina decides to pick or Brianna, that connection that they have, it's unlike anything on the league. And I think if they solidify that and there's no injuries, I think that's good. And also the additions, obviously, Natasha Cloud and Johannes, but the core, it's Sabrina and Brianna. If they're clicking, I think it's 10-0 well deserved.
All right, Kirstin, you brought up our favorite new player, Natasha Cloud. What have you seen from Natasha Cloud? Because we have never disliked anything Natasha Cloud's done, even if it's been against the Liberty in the past. What have you seen for her impact on this team?
Man, I want to backtrack a little bit because we've spoken so much on the show about like who our favorite players are, etc. And one player that would always come up when we're talking about the other teams is Natasha Cloud. Like she's just such an incredible player for one, but also just such an incredible person that like it's no wonder that she's become a fan favorite for New York this year. But yeah, we signed Natasha Cloud this season. We also re-signed Marine Johannes after her time playing for the French national team. And at first, like I was super excited, but I was also kind of thinking in my head, like our roster is already so star-studded. Like, it's going to be really interesting to see the way that these players kind of slot back into what was already a championship team. So yeah, I was very intrigued to see how the season went, but both of them, Marina already kind of knew her spot, having played first 2 seasons ago, but Natasha, she just slipped right in. She fit seamlessly, and I think a lot of that is kind of owed to the time that she spent playing with Sabrina in the Unrivaled League in the off-season. You can definitely see between those two, there's such a like fluidity and dynamic. They kind of know each other quite well, and it's been really cool to see them getting to put that into the WNBA, like translating that Unrivaled game into the WNBA. Tasha's been putting up career highs as well. She was Eastern Conference Player of the Week. Was she also Player of the Month or Player of the Week? Just the week. Okay, yeah. But it's crazy. Like, she's been playing for so long, and she's been such a valued player in every team that she's played for, that it's kind of crazy to me to think that now she's joined what was already a championship team and is now putting up career high stats. Like, it's insane to see a player slot into a team like that and really play such a pivotal role. So yeah, she's doing great. I'm loving watching her play.
She's doing great. Now, talk about Natasha. Now, I think one thing that she's bringing that we're missing, because we've had 2, I think, really key exits this year, and that is Benijah Laney is hurt. So she's going to be out the rest of the season. And she was limited last year with a knee injury, and so she's out the complete whole season. And because she played in Unrivaled, she's got money because of Unrivaled. We're going to do a whole thing about Unrivaled at some point, because it is just a game changer. Especially because, our best player founded it with, the best player for, the runners up from last year. I'm going to keep saying that until Minnesota wins. So the runners up. Yeah, I'm going to just ruffle all the feathers. But Benijah's gone this year because of injury. And then because of the expansion draft with Golden State, with the Valkyries, Natalie Nakase wisely took Kayla Thornton, who is all energy and all just like pure grit. Her shot improved when she was with the Liberty, but you have someone that's such a physical presence that can guard so many different people. So Natasha Cloud coming in here as someone that can guard, with Benijah and Kayla gone, that is instrumental, I believe, for the Liberty. So how is the team different this year without Kayla and Benijah with the new pieces? Because Pedro, you mentioned Marine's back, and then we have Natasha. So what is the biggest difference, do we think, between those two compared to the two that are like back and with the Liberty, with Natasha and Marine?
The biggest thing for me, I would say, is that, so when I think of Benijah playing, I just think of her as this real, like, momentum shifter. Like, she kind of gets in, she gets everything done right on the defensive end, and then she has these spurts of like really powerful offense that would really kind of hype the team up. Same thing goes for Kayla Thornton. I feel like in certain aspects they played quite similar roles, especially defensively, like real hustle players. And again, Kayla Thornton, she would come in off the bench, she would do exactly what she had to do. And yeah, I think both of them are a huge loss on the team. Gaining Marine Johannes back, I think she brings that kind of flair more so on the offensive end to the team that I think kind of like just pairs nicely with the New York offense anyway. So I think it's a little bit more of a focus on offense and a bit more flair. And then Natasha Cloud, she's in my opinion, one of the best two-way players in the league. She's such a great defender. So I feel like, yes, we've lost Benijah. Yes, we've lost Kayla Thornton, both of which were very hustle players. But we've gained like the embodiment of like a defensive hustle player in Natasha Cloud. So it's definitely a shame and it's a loss to the team. But I think weighing up what we've kind of gained in the off season with Natasha Cloud and Marine coming back, I think the roster's still looking very healthy, and I wouldn't put this down as overall a loss for New York. I think that especially with Natasha's impact that she's had on the team, both offensively, her insane assists that she's been dropping, and then her just incredible defense. I really think it's looking good for New York.
Also, they have to pick up the
looking...
slack if we have some players hurt. The real test of how good these additions are going to be is going to be tested, because let's see what happened with these injuries. I'm a little scared.
Yes, I agree with you. And go into that. So this year, Liberty started off, won their first 9 games, dropped one to the Fever when Jonquel was out. Leonie Fiebich is on duty with the German national team. And so lose that game, and Caitlin came back and went lights out. So, yep, lost that game. Had a huge comeback against the Dream, down 17 points at a certain point in the game. And then play the Mercury, and Jonquel goes down with an ankle injury. And they're still in the Mercury game. They just had a bad, literally, fourth quarter where the Mercury did it, where the Mercury took it to them. JJ's out for 4 to 6 weeks. That is huge, especially if we don't have Fiebich back, which we need to get her back because we need to have the length, because we have no strength, or less strength, not no strength, less strength in the post. So Nyara's going to have to play more, and she's injury prone because she sat out some games this year, and she can be great. But what is the impact of JJ being out for the next at least month until I would say around August for the Liberty? Because started off great, and she was, sat out some games, but what is the biggest impact? Pedro, how do you see this affecting the Liberty going through July?
This is gonna, it just sucks because JJ, she stretched the floor so good. Like she creates so many lanes. But not just with hers, I feel like they can manage. It's definitely stay afloat now. With Sabrina, that's a whole different I think story. Listen, as long as Breanna Stewart is there, is solid, you hope for the best. But the fact that it's also the same ankle she was having issues with, and at least she walked it off, which make me feel good. But there's gonna be some tough 4 to 6 weeks to figure out what the post is gonna look like.
And the past couple games that they've lost, been out rebounded, and this is my biggest concern in these losses is we have had so many more turnovers and less assist, and that's why that beginning part of the year was so clean, was so good, because it was so clean. There was so many assists, so many turnovers, and in the last 2 losses, it's just been turnover city, and the passing hasn't been as good, and not having JJ in the post or another ball handler in Fiebich, and then especially against the Storm, Sabrina out with her neck tightness, just less people to handle the ball. And I'm going to say this, especially against the Storm, losing against the Storm, Skylar's like, I'm going to attack everybody.
She took advantage for sure. But anyway.
Skylar saw blood when they were on the plane over to Seattle. That's what I think.
Yeah.
She's like, so I need to see everybody else turn the ball over less, because they're still in games.
They hit some shots. That's the thing. When the Liberty loses, it's because the other team hit some good shots. So it's take it for what it's worth.
Well, so are they hitting? Here's another question. I'll throw this out here to you, Pedro. Are they hitting some good shots because we have no JJ for a shot blocker, no Fiebich with her long arms, and because they're getting more shots because we're turning the ball over? Are those all things? They have to be some contributing factors, or are people just going lights out against this? Because I think Paige said that about Dallas. She was shooting free throws and got caught, not caught, but on a mic said people shoot like 20% against us, talking about individual players or against everybody else, and they play us, they shoot 60. Is because the target on our backs, which you said earlier, because we won?
Yep.
Is that something where everybody's like, I'm going to shoot lights out now?
I think they definitely way more confident to just, I'm going to shoot it from here. And then but did they make it? So you can't be mad at it. And it's been happening. Call it the Kirstin Clark effect or not, but they just launch it and they make it, because Sabrina does the same thing. Sometimes she shoots it from really far. It's modern basketball, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and then we got a new nickname, for her, Queen Marine, as we figured out how to call her. Kirstin, what did you think about your girl just making some of her flare shots against Seattle, keeping a minute? Because that was the first time I've seen her super flare up this year. Talking about all the flair she has, that was quintessential Queen Marine flair.
It was awesome to see her back because she's had a couple games where like she's had some nice looks, but almost feeling like just not fully kind of getting into the flow of it. But yeah, she had put up 17 points against Seattle, which was awesome. Made 3 threes as well, and I think the thing that's just so special about Marine is like we said, the flair, but it's her ability to throw off her defenders by using that one step. I mean, she's doing a one-step shot from behind the 3-point line. Like, who does that? It's just so ingrained as a defender to try and anticipate what your player is doing, and you do that through like, okay, they're gonna set up into their shot. They're 1-2. You time when you're gonna go to block the shot. You time when you're gonna try steal the ball, etc. When you have a player like that, that's just like completely throwing you off your guard, playing so unconventionally, it's really, really difficult to defend. So it's really cool that she has that skill, that very unique skill. I've not seen very much of that in the league. And yeah, just like really nice to see her kind of get more into the flow.
She even played like
I want to see her
36 minutes. Like she played 36 minutes.
Yeah, it was her first start. Yeah, first start. I want to see her have a little bit more defensive presence. She did recover and have that really sweet block against Seattle. But I was like, I need to see a little bit more better on ball for Marine because we know why we love her, but I need to see the hard-nosed stuff. But this is something that everybody's going to have to pick up on because this is not going to be an easy road trip. But they do have a lot of – that's one of the things I think is going to be good with JJ being out the month of July pretty much. They have so many home games. It's pretty much their home all of July until like the last 2 games of July. So at least they don't have to travel and have that home court advantage with JJ out. But so before we get to the future games, we kind of mentioned her a little bit. Is our kind of player spotlight is Natasha Cloud. Just throwing it out there just to have everybody talk about it. She has been someone that I've been a fan of for years. And as I like to say, my mom loves Natasha Cloud. I feel like she's back at home because she actually gets to wear number 9 this year. She didn't get to wear it last year in Phoenix because Sophie Cunningham had number 9. And if Natasha Cloud's on a team, I feel like it's, unless you're Asia or Stewie or somebody, you should give her number 9. Her last name's Cloud. Like, this is ridiculous. Give her number 9. So Natasha Cloud, Player of the Week. First time in her career she was Player of the Week to start off the year and just killed it. Made her entrance on the New York stage. And I've won her on the team. Last year I didn't know if we were going to sign Sloot back or not. I'm happy Sloot's got another title. She went through a lot last year. I'm happy she had the Liberty family. But I really wanted to not sign Sloot and get Natasha Cloud last year. And that would have worked out. But hey, it still worked out for us. And Natasha Cloud is here this year. So Natasha Cloud, Pedro, you've talked about this, about how the fans of New York respond to Natasha Cloud. And she always talks about like that Philly kind of vibe that she has that really fits in with the Brooklyn vibe. So What is it that you have heard on the ground that makes Natasha Cloud so special for all of the Liberty fans?
She's definitely a fan favorite. It goes without saying the type of vibe she brings and how she carries herself and how identified she feels for from the city of Brooklyn. You can see a lot of her jerseys there too, and people really want her. I mean, her and Sabrina are like the ones to like they want people are crazy, crying or not crying, but like screaming for. But you can see, and also like the way that she carries herself, how she speaks. I think it's also pretty. It gives you pretty. In depth, of the behind the scenes a little bit. But besides that, I think it's just like very physical, very defensive oriented. Like she gets so hyped up just by a defensive stop. That's a certain type of player that you need and you want on your team. And I feel like the crowd really like it feeds off of that, because a 3 is great as a 3, but when you take a steal or like a block, it's like people get really hyped up. So that's amazing.
Kirstin, you're Natasha Cloud love. What is it? Why? What are all the things?
I just it's one thing to love a player for their playing style. Like, I love the way Natasha plays. Like, she's very skilled offensively, but what really speaks for her is her defensive hustle. Like, she just wants the ball. She wants to play. She doesn't care. Like, defense is what most players would perceive as being like the dirty work. It's the harder thing to do, to play good defense, to stay committed. And Natasha just is the embodiment of that. And then just like as a person, you see like even just from her social medias, like TikTok lives or like her little like Stewie segments that she's doing in the locker room, like what bag does she have today? Like she's just such a great personality to have on the team.
Yeah.
And I like to think like previous seasons of Liberty, we've already had such an incredible culture on the team. Everyone really gets along well, but putting someone like Natasha Cloud in the locker room, I just like it's been such a different vibe this year. Not that there was even anything that needed improved, but it's just like incredible to have someone like Natasha Cloud just like sharing her like super positive energy, her sense of humor, and just like Pedro said a lot with like the fan engagement and everything. It's just great. She's just such an incredible addition to the team. And yeah, not to mention also getting that slam cover. I'm sure people will have seen all about that, but that was just awesome. Seeing her get the cover. It's a really like in-depth article that they've written about her, and you can see in the cover she's also wearing a pair of Sabrina 2s, I believe, in the Liberty color, which is like pretty sick. So it's really cool to see her celebrate her teammates, even in her big moments.
Yeah.
You know, she's got a little subtle like, oh, I'm gonna wear my teammates' shoes. I'm gonna kind of still uplift everyone, and that's just the kind of teammate that you want to have on your team.
Well, when you talk about her as a teammate, in 2019, when she was playing for the Mystics, she was the ultimate hype woman for Elena Delle Donne getting MVP. She was, every chance she talked, like she was talking about Elena Delle Donne MVP this year, Elena Delle Donne. And then at one point during a press conference, and I don't know if it was at the end in like the postseason, but Elena was talking about her dad. I think her dad's name's Ernie, but she was saying about how he helped her out with something because she's, had all the herniated disc and all kinds of things. And her dad was helping her. And Natasha Cloud just goes, Mr. Delle Donne. Like, and how much she, like, loved him and was saying it in this way. And Elena was like, shut up. It's such a good vibe she has with all her teammates. And I'm mad you took my nice little what bag did Stewie bring today on Tasha's social media. Even just her interaction with Ellie, how much she like wants to dance and like shows her like off, it's such a vibe. Now, statistically, something very important. She is number 9 all time now this year. She made top 10, and she's right there with Skylar. All time assist in the W. She's got 1,605 career assists as of today. Skylar's about 9 behind her. I don't know if they have the New York-Seattle game in, but she is a top 10 WNBA all-time assist. The other people on this list are Sue Bird, Courtney Vandersloot, Tisha Pinachero, Diana Taurasi, Lindsay Whalen, Becky Hammond, Chelsea Gray, Candace Parker, and then right below that is Natasha Cloud. So you literally have Hall of Famers and future Hall of Famers, and Natasha Cloud is in the top 10 with them. So that is also a testament to her being such a great veteran and working her way in this league and making sure that when she got her shot that she did not mess it up. Like, I just heard Eminem sing Lose Yourself. Yeah, she's only got one shot and she made it count as good as anybody did. And it also stems from how she is as a person, that she is beloved by everybody in this league. So, hey, Natasha, if you ever get to hear this, we all love you over here, including my mom. So you get another love from a parent, just like Mr. Delle Donne.
I've got my little Natasha Cloud slam cover in the background. It's
that's
tiny, you can't see it, but that's what that is right there.
This is where you mute your microphone and you go grab it and just bring it up for the people to see, even though this is mostly audio-wise. So when this goes on YouTube, we could just be like, this is it. Here it is. If you don't know what...
I'll grab it. You guys need to interlude for 30 seconds.
I can do that. Have we met? I can do that. All right. So Natasha Cloud, we she may not be an all-star this year. Look at that. That's a great cover. Seafoam Skies. It's perfect. She may not be an all-star because she's averaging under 10 points, but she's second in the league, I believe, in assists behind Alyssa Thomas per game. But she may not be an all-star. She could get in there for, we'll see on how everybody goes. But people that we know are going to be an all-star this year for New York, it's going to be Stewie and Sabrina. So maybe Natasha Cloud gets in there on fan votes, maybe not. But all-star voting has kicked off. There's hundreds of thousands of votes. Just like the past couple of years, there's so many more votes than there ever has been. It's insane. What is our take on all-star voting right now and where they stand? Because I can tell you there's one that I love and hate all at the same time.
Well, on the
first
returns of the voting, let's start with Natasha Cloud. She's number 29. 74,000. Number 15, JJ with 162,000. Number 8, Sabrina, 234,000, and number 5, Brianna with 367,000. So definitely Brianna and Sabrina, definitely. I mean, I don't want to call it a lock, but they're pretty. I mean, if they healthy, at least for Sabrina. JJ, I don't know. Well, she'll definitely get it too. Depends, but that's where it stands. That's our only players in the top 40. Those 4.
But here's the question. Here's the question. JJ hasn't played that much this year, and she's gonna miss like the next so many games. Yeah. I don't really know if that should be someone that should get in for voting, because I mean, get in on All-Star when you haven't played that much, which is tough because like I love JJ. I want her to be an All-Star. If she's healthy, she's in there, but she's not healthy right now. So I don't. It's weird to say I don't want that to happen, but I don't think that's fair to happen. All right, so you have it up, Pedro. How many votes does Lexie Hull have?
She's number 9, 217,000, right behind Sabrina.
That is wrong.
Well, you can guess who's number 1, right?
I mean, we know who it is. So I'm like, that is wrong. Right. And I have loved Lexie Hull for years. I loved her at Stanford. I remember I was so happy to see her play at a Final Four. But that is wrong. Like, this is where fans have run amok. Fever fans. What? Great, you back your team. Wrong. She should not be in there. Just like last year when Kate Martin got a lot of votes. She didn't play that much. How? I know how, but like, why? Like, no. I need Kayla Thornton to be an all-star.
What number you think is not Sophie Cunningham?
Oh God, I don't even want to know. She's top. Is she 22?
Ooh, she's 23. That's good. Okay. She's 23.
Also no. Also
no.
No. You're not an all-star. Do I want both those players to be on a team if I'm creating a team? Like, if they're available, do I take them? Absolutely. They're not all-stars. You don't build teams around them. No. I can't keep saying no, but you get the gist. It's a no. Right. But, like, hey, good on you. You're both good players. Like, congrats, Lexie Hull. I think part of that is the fact that she's had the greatest TikTok series, her and Erica Wheeler last year, of like fit switches, when she would just wear Wheezy's outfits like coming in, and she they both looked good in them, which is just a testament to how stylish Erica Wheeler is, that she made Lexie Hull look good in her outfits. Which, if there's ever going to be a TikTok series that each team needs to do, we need to do fit switches for everybody. I would love to see that be something that happens, where they have to switch what they're wearing from the tunnel and they have to wear it and put it on socials. This is where the W is so much better than the NBA. The fact that was a thing. If you don't know what I'm talking about out there, look up Lexie Hull and Erica Wheeler and just look at all the outfits. You will be happy with it. So, Kirstin, thoughts on the All-Star voting?
I think, to your point about Lexie Hull, a couple players maybe in the top votes that shouldn't be there. It's insane, but we all know exactly why they're there. I think it's I don't know. I think it was maybe to be maybe not to this extent. Like looking at this now, there's 4 Indiana Fever players in the top 10, which is
they're not even above 500.
Yeah, it's insane.
No.
Like I just don't think it's right. And like to your same point about Jonquel, you want the voting to be fair. You want the voting to be people who, have actually put the work in, who have actually played the games, who have actually put up the numbers. And it's kind of just tough to see that, not just like on the Fever side, but that there are some players getting quite high up in the votings and maybe shouldn't be there. But I mean, on the point about Jonquel, it is also just to be expected. Like she was the WNBA Finals MVP last year. I think that's a very natural thing for people to be like, oh, like of course this player should be an all-star. Yeah. It's difficult to remove your like preconceptions of the players or like your experience from who actually maybe should deserve to be there. But a couple names in there that I would have anticipated. Paige Bueckers, number 6. Again, I mean, she's having a good season. She's been out a couple games, but it's just one of those names you just expected from the get-go. Like, you didn't even need to see, she didn't even need to play. You just kind of knew a name as big as Paige Bueckers, she's going to be popular in the All-Star voting. So, yeah, I think interesting, for sure.
Well, you mentioned Paige, so I'm going to throw out something for Rookie of the Year, because there are 3 rookies right now that are killing it. And that is Paige. She just dropped her 35 and wore her AZ shirt when she was walking in. So I think she nailed it, that she knew she was going to hit 35 that night by wearing an AZ shirt walking in. And then Sonia Citron, again, killing it. She just had a career high with 27. And Kiki Iriafen. Those 3 are killing it. And if Paige is in there, Paige's numbers are a little bit higher, but Kiki's putting up pretty much a double-double. Sonia's been getting the ball in the late games and making free throws and big shots for Washington. They don't look like rookies. And also Kiki Iriafen is like ready to wrestle a ball away from every player, which I'm like, all the respect, girl. I'm loving this. She does not care. She's like, they had a jump ball. I'm trying to think it was Maisha Hines-Allen. And after the refs blew the whistle, she was like, I'm still going to get this ball from you. And it was awesome. So Kiki, Sonia, Paige. I mean, if Lexie Hull and Sophie are in there, like Sonia and Kiki need to be in there too. But if there's anyone to vote for, if you listen to this podcast, and I may be biased because she played for the New York Liberty and won a championship with us, but vote for Kayla Thornton. Go vote for Kayla Thornton. 3 or 4 double-doubles for the Valkyries. They are above 500. She's been in the league forever. She is amazing. Vote for Kayla Thornton. This is the ASMR portion of the podcast. Vote for Kayla Thornton. Do it. I'm going to do it after we're done with this podcast. Please do that. Make it happen.
Kirstin brought a good point when she brought up the Fever, because there is, on the top 20, there is 5 Fever players, but only 1 Atlanta Dream player. And it's like, so it's definitely the Fever effect a little bit. And hey, listen, take it for what it's worth. Sometimes it can be a popularity contest, and it'd be like that. So,
and this is where I really just want to, like, let's look at all the numbers. What do we got? Alicia Gray. I would love it if she's an all-star. Ryan has had some really great games. She put up 9 threes, which tied a record. But they are just playing as a team. Like, I feel like the Dream and Minnesota are such team-based teams. Same thing with the Mercury. Even though Alyssa Thomas is always going to Alyssa Thomas. That's going to be a verb. Alyssa Thomas is going to Alyssa Thomas. Yeah. But they have been excellent with players that I have not even really heard that much from. And, like, rookies that are not 22 that have come in and played from other places. And Copper's not even playing. And the Mercury are doing so well. And I'm going to throw out that with the Mercury, thinking about like teams that have such depth that are playing so well together. Oh, and then Gummy Whitcomb, a.k.a. Sammy Whitcomb, has been shooting lights out lately too. But I'm going to throw out and say that I was kind of wrong, or I wouldn't say I was wrong, but Nate Tibbetts, the coach for the Mercury, we were very critical of his hiring. and they seem to gel so well and like him. And I'm like, good job, Nate Tibbetts. I hope that you succeed because I'm having fun watching this team. Satu, like the fact that they've gotten their chemistry already is great. But yeah, there's a lot of people that I'm gonna make my all-star list, and we're gonna talk about that at some point in the podcast. And it will probably have like one, maybe two players from the Fever on it. Not everybody.
no starting five.
Yeah, not five, not five. So I did mention these two teams and who I think should be in all-star voting, which is Kayla Thornton of the Valkyries, and then I did just mention how well the Mercury are playing this year. And Kali Copper played against the Sky. She came back. Those are the next two games for our Libs. They're going to Golden State, and then they're going to the Mercury. Now, they just lost to the Mercury. They just lost to the Storm. They're down players, and the Valkyries are excellent in what they do because they kind of know who they are, which Timmy Fagbenley said in a press conference. We are a team of sixth women, players that have not really started in their career and have come off the bench and just know their roles and are excelling them. And this is where I think Natalie Nakase is such a good coach because she knew which players would work well to fit in this system. And I'm going to throw this about the Valkyries. Someone put on a post that Kate Martin is 5-0 against Caitlin Clark in her career because the Valkyries beat the Fever. I'm going to say that Natalie Nakase, who is an assistant coach for the Aces, is 5-0 against Caitlin Clark in her career. So we're playing the Valkyries. What do we think is going to happen? We just lost two. We got this team, this expansion team, and we're playing on their home court, probably to a sellout because they're selling out all the time, which Valkyries have made this such a good thing. Yeah, such a good year. What do you got, Pedro? We winning?
Splitting 1-1, I think. I think yes, even Valkyrie is playing good, but also we beat them before twice. So I mean, we were home, I know, but I think split it. Yeah.
So when you say split it, which game do they win?
Okay, great. Right. So yes, definitely. Winning at Golden State and losing at Phoenix. That's what I'm going for.
That's what you're going for, Kirstin.
Yes.
What do you got?
I am actually gonna agree with Pedro on this one. I think we'll play the Valkyries, and yeah, we had one game against them where we absolutely blew them out, and then we had a much closer game. I just think that they are performing well. They've no longer got Julie Van Loo because she's out on national duties as well. So I think that's like a big loss for them, a player that really kind of like structures their offense quite well. Kayla Thornton's been playing incredibly well, so like definitely important to highlight that for her. But I don't know. I have a feeling. I think that if we have healthy Sabrina, which I'm hoping this was just a one game kind of like just in case. If we have a healthy Sabrina, I think we beat the Valkyries, and then we play Mercury. I think it was so tough playing that game without Jonquel. Like what we spoke about earlier, they just kept driving. They were super aggressive, and I just feel like we didn't really have the answer defensively at some points. It was kind of like either really intent on ball and kind of lacking more off ball on like help defense and stuff. So I just think the loss of Jonquel's presence in the paint, and then also one of our strongest defensive players in Leonie Fibic, who also really stretches the court on defense. I just think without the two of them, it's going to be another tough game against the Mercury. So I can see that going in their favor. So yeah, I'm thinking we beat Valkyries and we lose to the Mercury.
I'm just going to throw out that you guys suck, and I'm going to say that they're going to win both because we're not losing 4 out of 5 games or 4 out of 6 games. I feel like Sandy's going to make the adjustments with Jonquel out, and they are all going to adjust and to figure out what's going on and beat the Valkyries and beat the Mercury, which when we before we were doing this, I thought they were going to beat the Mercury at home, and then they're going to lose to
Right.
them in Phoenix. And since they lost to them at home, I'm like, they're going to beat them in Phoenix. I don't care that we're down players. It's going to happen. Sabrina's going to be back. She's going to put up like 30. Stewie's going to put up 25. And then everybody else is going to chip in. And Niara's going to get the best of her sister and somehow get in her head the way that Satu's been getting in everybody's heads this year. I think we're going to do a reverse Sabali. That's what I'm going to call it. Niara, you got to start talking some crap. Talk trash. Get in your sister's head. And yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. And they're going to figure out how to rebound against Alyssa Thomas. Everything I'm saying feels like I'm in a Twilight Zone because rebounding against Alyssa Thomas is like her and Angel. It's pretty impossible. Angel, Alyssa, and Asia. That's the triple A of rebounds. But we're going to do it. We're going to figure it out. Everybody's going to rebound. Queen Marine's going to get 4 threes or something like that in that Mercury game. Not as worried about the Valkyries, which maybe I should be, but I don't know. I'm just going to say 2-0. Maybe part of it is to be the opposite of you two, but I don't know.
Right.
I'm gonna say 2-0. I'm saying Sandy doesn't lose in her old stomping grounds. That's the other thing. Yeah.
I feel like if we're gonna lose something, might as well be now. Where we're like a little like, maybe you can get them now, and then we'll see.
Oh, we gotta make sure you get this Mercury because if it comes to tie breaks, when it comes to tie breaks on who gets a seed, we need to make sure that we get these games because the way that it's shaping up, it's the Lynx, Mercury, Dream, and us, and then everybody else that's going to fill in because of how everybody started.
Right.
But it's a long season. We're only a quarter in, but they're going to clean up all those turnovers they had, and they're going to somehow beat them with pretty much the same team they had in New York, but they're going to clean up the turnovers. Stacia's guess against the Mercury. You just watch. The Valkyries will surprise us, and that would suck. But yeah, I'm saying 2-0. You guys are at 1-1. I'm good with that.
Also, like the Mercury, they on a 5-game winning streak, so
they got to lose.
And they got to lose. And those all been on the road too, 4-1 on the road and coming back to us. So we'll see. They got to lose.
I'm gonna interpret that as they're gonna be overconfident at home, and we're gonna take advantage.
Yes. Let's put it that way.
Let's put it that way.
Also, no scuffles this week, huh?
Oh.
Everything kept it cool.
When the fights happen later this week, we know why. It's all Pedro. It's all Pedro.
Yeah, exactly.
It's gonna be all Pedro. Yes.
I think we need to tell the listeners what happened the first time we spoke to Pedro.
I was going to give him a break, but need to do that. All right, so we met Pedro, and the Liberty were at the time 9-0. And he said, when we start doing this, are we going to start talking about an undefeated season? And then what was it, 2 days later? They lose to the Fever and have lost 3 out of 4. So we have to put it out in the universe, Pedro, so then we can, get rid of it and then go on like a nice little win streak right here. Even though you don't believe currently, even though a week ago you believed in an undefeated season.
Yeah, absolutely. I was sold. And then and then I said, you know what? It was a undefeated home season. Boom.
Messed it up again. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, this is the kind of roasting that will continue to happen. So I so hope they go 2-0 this week, so I can just throw it in your face. And if they lose one, then you can throw it in my face, even though that's disappointing on their part. But oh well. All right. So Kirstin and Pedro think they're winning at Golden State and losing at Phoenix. I'm just going to go ahead and say they're going to be 2-0. They're going to figure this out and be just like they were those first 9 games with or without some players. But yeah, that's what we got for you on our New Look podcast, the New York Liberty podcast from Your Game Network. We hope that you keep tuning in. And if this is your first time here, we're so happy to have you. Kirstin and I have all kinds of content up on wherever you get your podcast of us. It's just us in the past. We have a good time doing this. We hope that you guys do. And Pedro, we are so happy to have you here. Welcome. I got to stop saying so much. Very much looking forward to you getting on the ground and being at Barclays. I'll be extremely jealous, but it's exactly what we need to get the feel that our listeners deserve and New York Liberty fans deserve to have that experience that you're going to have. So welcome.
Absolutely.
Very excited for you. All right. But for the New York Liberty podcast, I'm Stacia.
I'm Kirstin.
And I'm Pedro.
Right. Can't wait to see you guys next week. Bye.
See ya.
Peace out, guys.